Hey, y'all. Um, just figured I would do a short live video. I'm not expecting a lot of people to show up. Um, I just think I owe everybody a little bit of an explanation on what's been going on. And of course, the heater decides that now would be a good time to turn on. That's okay. We'll work through it. Basically, what happened was Friday, December 10th, at 8:30 in the morning. I went into the dentist and I had 22 teeth extracted and received a set of immediate dentures. This is something that I have been planning for a while and something I have been working toward for a while. I've had dental problems all my life, and something had to be done. So this was not for vanity. This was not for cosmetic purposes. This was simply for serviceability, usability, my ability to eat, and it was slowly going away. Broken teeth, bad dental work, years in the past, and I was losing the ability to just chew. So the decision was made to go ahead and have this done. And I am I'm finding there are a lot of different things that I never really considered. Now, automatically you can see I'm speaking differently. I have to teach myself to talk again, basically. I don't whistle my S's as much as I did. This is the end of day 5 for me. Um, I I didn't have a lot of pain the first couple of days. I did big time. Um, but you got to remember, I had 22 teeth taken out. That's a lot. That's a trauma. I mean, so there's going to be some pain. But I have been able to kind of work through it. Yes, they gave me some medications, and I don't remember a whole heck of a lot about the first 2 days. Let me address that from the get-go. They didn't give me general anesthetic when I went in. They didn't put me under, but they might as well have. He gave me a prescription that I picked up a couple of days before my appointment, and it was for a drug called Halcyon. If you've never experienced that, drink to the point that you black out. That's what it is. And I took the pills an hour before my appointment and I was fine. I remember the drive in. They said, make sure somebody takes you and drives you home. And thank God, because there's absolutely no way I could have operated a motor vehicle. I remember the trip in perfectly. I remember getting, signed in and going in and sitting down and the dentist coming in and start giving me the Novocaine injections. And it was about halfway through the Novocaine injections. Things kind of got blurry. Now, according to everybody involved, I was in the dental chair for about an hour and a half. But it seemed like 10 minutes later, they were taking me out. I had my face all stuffed with gauze, looking like a chipmunk, and took me out into took me out into the waiting room. My wife basically babysat me, and I don't remember this, but my wife tells me that the dentist said, "Do not let him talk. He has the bleeding has to stop. Do not let him talk." Well, you might as well ask the tide not to come in. I mean, asking me not to talk, are you kidding? Um, from there, it's a blur. And I don't even remember that part of it. I woke up later that night and immediately ran for the pain pills because it was bad. Um, Don Harding. It is great to see all you guys over in the chat, and thank you very much. Good luck teaching them to eat and talk. Well, this is an immediate denture, so it's not, they don't fit right. And if you've been through this and you know what immediate dentures are, they're very loose. Basically, they take a mold of your mouth when you still have teeth, and then they go through and they kind of delete those teeth and add teeth in. And this is made out of an epoxy resin, believe it or not, an acrylic resin, excuse me. And these are not my permanent dentures. Well, so that was done on Friday, and I kept them in. I was paranoid. I kept them in. I slept with them on, and everything was great. Monday, I went in for my first adjustment because they can't anticipate what your gums are going to do. The dentures were made way too tall, and they cut into my gums big time. So we did an adjustment. They trimmed them down, polished them up, and everything is much, much better now. I have an appointment for 2 weeks to go in and get another adjustment done. And I'm still in the learning process. I'm eating okay. I do take them out sometimes to eat. Other times I eat with them in. It just depends on what I'm eating. I'm not doing the chicken soup and broth thing. I mean, I just had some ravioli, so I'm doing softer stuff, but I'm doing okay. Let's see. Do not. Don says, do not ever take them out of the dinner table and ask your wife to clean them for you. Oh no, no. Especially if you have company. It's funny. I remember my grandfather doing stuff like that. Never, not asking my grandmother to clean them for him, but just sitting there in his chair, just reach up with his tongue and pop one out and take it out and kind of play with it, and it freaked me out. But it's a process. It's a learning process. I'm not ready to go back to doing weekly podcasts yet, and I'm not ready to go back to doing weekly live streams yet. I don't know how my diction sounds to all you folks out there, but I can tell the difference. It's funny, S's and G's are the hard ones. You don't realize how many times your tongue hits the roof of your mouth until you have to think about what you're going to say. So I still kind of whistle the S's, and it's real easy to do a country accent now. Especially if you put your lips in the position to where you do whistle through your S's. But again, they're still being adjusted, and I've not used any adhesive yet. So on the top, I had a full plate done. So I have none of my teeth on top. I do still have some teeth on the bottom. And on the bottom, it is a partial plate. So you can see the difference in color. For those of you who didn't understand that, you can see there's a difference in color there. So, but all is going well. And I know I'm real big with the 55 and older crowd, so this is not a surprise to a lot of you. But if you, I want to say, if you are thinking about going through this and having it done, but you're a little bit nervous about what to expect or about what's going to happen, maybe you're like me, you don't like, inflicting pain on yourself for no reason. Why the hell would you do that? Well, let me encourage you. It's not as bad as some of you may think. I would say go ahead and get it done. I mean, there's no time like the present. There really isn't. I don't wake up with toothaches anymore. I don't have sensitivity to temperature anymore. I can take a cold drink and just take a swig, and I don't have that shock of the temperature differential anymore. Um, the the benefits far outweigh any kind of a disadvantage. I mean, you can request a general anesthetic. They can put you out. Believe me when I say you will be put on some pain medication. But I found personally, just for me, the first couple 3 days, I did rely on that pain medication. And after that, I just didn't need it. I mean, I take naproxen sodium, Aleve, and that manages everything. And I find that I no longer have to take the therapeutic dose for of the Aleve. I can just take the one tablet in the morning and then one tablet in the evening, and I'm fine. And that's done more to help inflammation and reduce swelling than anything else. Because yes, you are going to swell up. But yeah, Steve Nealon here, Harneal Media, my buddy Steve, there are times you will still notice temps. Wait until you superheat the top plate. I was warned about that. And this is why I sometimes take my teeth out to eat. For instance, if I'm eating ramen noodles, I love ramen noodles. If I'm eating ramen, it's very easy to mistake just how hot those things are, because with the denture in, you don't have that immediate feedback. So I will take my teeth out to eat ramen noodles so I can tell immediately just how hot they are. And there's not a lot of chewing involved in ramen noodles. But yeah, I do get that. So, and I was warned against that. Okay, Steve said, I wasn't warned, but it happens. I've had mine for over 30 years. Yeah, well, like I said, this is the tail end. Like I said, I went in at 8:30. I was home 10:30, 11 o'clock. So this is the tail end of day 5 to start of day 6 for me. And they say days 3 through 5 are the hardest. And I don't know if that's true or not. Day three wasn't too awful bad. Day 4 was bad. Day 4 was really bad. And it was basically because after the adjustment and they trimmed down the dentures to where it wasn't cutting into the top of my gums anymore, all those areas that had already been cut into started healing up and they were sore. So very, very sore. So I went down, I got some Oragel for it and did the, the benzocaine thing, and that helped a lot. But even now, I don't really need it that much. So, what can I say? Let's see. Richard Farwell, be careful when you go drinking. I don't drink, so that's not an issue. A relative lost his teeth a couple of times that way. His wife had to go looking for them. Yeah, I don't drink, so that's not an issue. But I will say I had to go to the store earlier today. I got dressed, ready to go, jacket on, baseball cap on, and I had my hand on the door, on the doorknob, ready to walk out. And I suddenly went, "You moron, go put your teeth in." I forget having that step. So I wear them as much as I can because I have to get used to them. They're not uncomfortable. They don't cause any pain. They're just not comfortable yet. So, I mean, it'll get there. I mean, and believe me, this is not a whine fest or a whimper fest or anything like that. This is just kind of letting everybody know what's going on, because I alluded to it before, but I never really said what was happening. So, see, Creative Bobo says, I had 10 teeth pulled when I had it done and he prescribed nothing for pain. Oh, I would have been in his face. No, sir. You will give me something for pain. No. Let's see. RB Woodwork right up north of me. Let's see. I like the Southern accent comment. Well, when my wife had hers done, she immediately became a Southern belle. My mother and grandmother, my mother and grandmother were both from Texas, and my grandfather was from Oklahoma. So I come at this. I mean, I get comments all the time. You're in Oregon. What do you know about hey y'all? It's having Southern parents and grandparents. I'm very well versed in y'all. Trust me. So, let's see. John Thompson says, be aware of bone chips that will work their way through your gums. Hasn't happened yet. Um, but I don't discount that. I was told that it's quite possible that I will have bone fragment or bone chips come up through the gums. The problem I'm having now is the sutures are starting to dissolve. And when I went in, let's see, I went in Monday. So that's what, 2 days ago. And I asked them, when are we going to take care of the sutures? Because some of them are a little loose and they get in between the denture and the gum and set up an irritation. And she said, well, these are dissolving sutures. They will dissolve. And in fact, they could start dissolving at any time. So 2 weeks from now, you will no longer have any sutures. If there are any fragments left over, we'll take them out. I'm like, okay, fine. We got home and it was 2 hours later that all of a sudden I had like a repelling line hanging from the roof of my mouth. The sutures started dissolving and coming loose. So that's what I'm fighting right now is I got to be careful when I eat because the sutures are falling out. They said I am beyond the time frame where I have to where I have to keep worrying about dry sockets. So I'm beyond that, thank the Lord. I've had one dry socket, and you don't want to experience it. Let's see. Steve says I'd never take mine out except to clean them. Again, though, you've had them for 30 years. I haven't had them a week yet. So let's see. Okay, it's good to see you're doing better. I'm going to start on the same project the beginning of next year. Thanks for the insight. Well, um, again, they will say that the first day 3 to day 5 are the worst. And I think I would have to agree with that, mainly because day 1 and 2, I was so drugged up I didn't even know my name. But day 3 to 5, they say are the worst. Again, I was paranoid to take them out. I didn't want to make any mistakes. I didn't want to get them out and then find I couldn't put them back in by myself. So after my visit to the adjustment, she said, oh, take them out whenever you want to. Some people do go ahead and eat, but she said, for certain, take them out when you sleep because your gums need at least 5 to 6 hours to a day to heal up. They're also going to have you rinse your mouth with salt water 3, 4, 5 times a day. And it does help, believe it or not. I didn't think that, what warm salt water, what's that going to do? Well, it's antibacterial. So Rick French has a good one here. Are you cutting your permanent dentures with V-Carve or Aspire? I have been joking with the dentist for a week now. Well, 2 weeks now. That when they go to make my permanents, I want a digital scan. I want the height map because I want to cut a set and hang them on the wall in the shop. And I don't think he understood what I was asking for, but I'm serious. I want to, I mean, could you imagine, seriously, could you imagine let's see, I have to find what's a good wood that would have a pinkish reddish color? I mean, I could use bloodwood. I could use redwood if I want to get cheap. With maple teeth. I mean, that hanging on the wall, that would be cool. But that's how my brain works. So, holy cow, I've been on here for 20 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to leave this up or not. Um, it's just, I figured I'll leave it up for a couple of days and then we'll see what happens. I just figured I owed you guys an explanation. Purple Heart, maybe it's going to depend on what my local hardwood supplier has. I don't know. I'll have to go in and see what they've got. Um, but I just thought I owed you guys an explanation of what's going on. I just did it. I still find when I speak very quickly that the dentures will hit each other in certain positions, and like a molar back here will hit and shift the plate down slightly, and I get a click click clack clack in my mouth that I don't know if translated to the microphone or not. But it's just another part of that, having to train yourself. And if I start using an adhesive, I'm sure things will get better. But the encouraging part of this whole thing is that these are not the permanent dentures. They are kind of made on the fly based on the teeth I already had. They just deleted those teeth and put in new ones. So they're not going to fit perfectly. And my mouth is going to change. So it's anywhere from 6 to 8 months. They will take new molds, and then from there, they will make my permanent dentures. We have insurance, and I know there's people who have asked me about the cost. We have insurance. They have a limited benefit. Everything is somewhere, it's right at $5,000. And that's for the immediate dentures and the permanent dentures. It's not outrageously expensive, and they are giving me, they're allowing me to pay on time and what have you. My insurance has already paid the portion that they're going to pay. Let's see, Norm Peterson says, actually, you sound better than before. I had so many missing teeth, Norm, that I think I sound better now as well. It's just, it was so many years that I spoke without having those teeth. I'm having to learn what a mouthful of teeth feels like again. So it's just strange. But it wasn't an exorbitant cost when you figure all of the care and all of the steps that are involved. Five to $6,000 is not a lot of money. So, okay, now Steve says never use adhesive. Why is that? I mean, now keep in mind, these are immediate dentures. These are not my permanent ones. I've heard that when it comes to your permanent dentures. Now, I haven't used an adhesive to this point, but I can tell just on a day-to-day basis that my mouth is changing, because where it fit right yesterday is not necessarily where it's fitting right today. My gums are healing to these shapes, but I don't know. I may try it with these, but when my permanents, yeah, I'm not so sure. Okay, once you start, you'll always have to use it. I've heard that, but I've heard that more in the context of the permanent dentures and not so much with the immediates, the temporaries. And I'll be honest with you, for 6 to 8 months, I wouldn't have any issue with using an adhesive. I just haven't tried it yet. So I need to let my gums heal more. I mean, it's only been 5 days, and I don't relish the idea of having loose sutures in there and getting them glued down someplace and then going to take the plate out and it yanks on that suture. I don't want to deal with that. So, but I have heard that once you start using adhesive, you'll always have to use it. Yeah, your mouth will adjust to fit the plate, and that's what's going on right now. That's what's happening right now. And like I said, I haven't used any, well, I won't use any adhesive on the bottom. this partial clips to a molar over here and a molar back here. So, and then wraps around one of my canines up front on this side. So I wouldn't use it down here. And I have no problem with the bottom. The bottom is it's just fine. They just had to polish up one corner back here in the back where it was actually sitting on the gum and pressing down, like it was trying to push the gum away from the tooth. So, Gorilla Glue will definitely make them permanent. Yeah, I'm more of a painter's caulk type guy. It's cheap, it's easy to find. They already had that woman do the Gorilla Glue in her hair. I don't want to be that guy on Facebook or Instagram who does the Gorilla Glue in the mouth thing. Although, I shouldn't say that. There are a few people that I would like to introduce Gorilla Glue to. Roger says, do not use a lot of adhesive, use it sparingly. Yeah, that's one thing the dentist told me. My gums are still healing. So they said, do not put any adhesive down in the trough of the denture, but go up on the top where it meets the roof of the mouth. And yes, use it sparingly, maybe a dime size drop and then tuck it up there, but try to keep it away from where the gums are healing. And like I said, right now, my main concern is the sutures. I go back in, trying to think of when I go back in. The 27th, I go back in. And so that's Monday after Christmas. And they said that if there are any sutures left, they'd be removing them all then. So, but okay, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Good grief. We had 40 people here. I did not expect anything like this. I just figured I would do a quick live to throw things, throw an explanation out there and let folks know what's going on. It's going to be an adventure getting back to the videos. And mainly because I've been down dealing with this. I haven't been out in the shop. I haven't done a ding dong thing. Christmas is taken care of, thankfully. But I haven't started making any videos. I haven't been doing the things that I wanted to get done because of this. And this is another problem. I don't know. I know I said I was going to end this twice. But did this happen to anybody? It has really thrown off my sleep cycles. And I mean, really thrown off my sleep cycles. I got up last night at 11:30 and was up until 5 this morning and slept till 3 this afternoon. That's just an example, but it's really messed with my sleep cycles. The first couple of days, I didn't sleep much at all, but it's just, I don't know. It's just been weird, but I'll have to get back into it and get back into a good regular cycle. Okay. All righty. Yeah, Norm, you got it. This is a time for family. So, yeah, Steve, what is this sleep you speak of? Steve sleeps in place. Steve at Horneo Media, he's the sponsor of my website. And he's the sponsor of the website that my partner Eloy Escojedo and I, our Trampled Underfoot podcast, he sponsors that website as well. He's a webmaster, web designer, and he's a jack of all trades, master of quite a few. Excuse me. And I don't promote him as often as I should. He's the guy I turn to for all things web. I mean, if you're experienced with websites and just looking for a web host, he's the guy to talk to. If you want a website and you don't know what you're doing at all, he's the guy to talk to. He'll do as much or as little as you want, and you talk to Steve. You talk to Steve. It's not some nameless, faceless company. You talk with him. So I heartily, very enthusiastically endorse Steve at Harneal Media. There's a link down in the description of all of my videos. I'll have to make sure I put it in this one too. Well, okay. I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. Like I said, 15 minutes ago. Thank you very much for all your prayers and your comments and everything else. They are greatly appreciated. And y'all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully when we get back to normal, and when I get back to normal in January, things will go a heck of a lot smoother this year than they did last year. So be safe out there. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. And y'all take care. Thank you.